Welcome to this East Austin 5-bedroom STR that we actually own cash, but it's currently worth about $1 million. We're inside this East Austin property that's about 10 minutes away from the airport and about 10 minutes from downtown and a lot of the East Austin downtown attractions. Here is actually my parents' old house that we have converted into a short-term rental. Honestly, we never intended for this to be a short-term rental, but when my parents moved out of this house, the two options were either to sell it or rent it out. And if we were to sell it based on the current market, which is down about 20% compared to last year, they will lose out on a lot of that hard-earned real estate appreciation that they have built up over the years. Now, they own this completely cash. So what I propose is for me to help them renovate it and furnish it and then put it on Airbnb. This property is expected to do about somewhere between 90K to 100K this year, but we are adding a cowboy pool or a stock tank pool, and that will greatly increase the gross revenue by a lot. Considering that they bought this for under 400K a few years ago, that's a solid home run for them. On top of that, if they were to hold this for another 3 years and then sell it at that point, they will make over 500K, basically tax-free, because they have stayed here or lived here for at least 2 years. On the contrary, if they were to keep this as a short-term rental for the next 3 years and then sell after that, not only will they be able to capture a lot of that lost real estate appreciation, they're also going to get additional real estate appreciation on top of that because this is in Austin, Texas. At that point, they're able to make over $500,000 tax-free because this was their former primary residence. And meanwhile, they've been cash flowing about anywhere from 100 to 150 gross every single year. So that's a home run for them because honestly, this house alone can replace my dad's W-2 salary as a tech worker. So let's show you around. Me and my parents actually disagreed on exactly what the extent of the renovation will be, but I ended up convincing them to change out the flooring, change out all the lighting fixtures, and also paint the cabinets. My mom loved the dark wood cabinets, but we were able to convince her to paint it at least a neutral light gray. Now, if this was solely for an STR setup, not considering the resale value of this house, then we probably would have painted a fun color such as navy blue or emerald green. But because we are considering reselling it in the next 3 to 4 years, we didn't really want to paint it something really alienating to a potential buyer. So we ended up designing this house to where if we ever needed to sell this house, it's already staged and set up in such a way that it will appeal to a greater number of people. So nothing is really crazy about this house in terms of design. Everything is relatively timeless and classic in their design choices. This couch was actually usually retailing about $4,000 to $5,000, but we were able to get it for about $1,000 at the nearby furniture outlet. This is one of my favorite rooms just because I absolutely love green and blue bedrooms and I love how the wallpaper turned out. But I think in the future, we are going to redo the wallpaper just because the person who installed this wallpaper honestly didn't do an amazing job. So we may have to do it in the next 3 years. I actually really like how the bathroom turned out considering we were not allowed to touch the brown tile as per my mom. So I basically just painted the cabinets and added a really nice mirror that's kind of fun to it. Not too funky because once again, we're decorating not just for STR, but also for potential resale. All right, we're upstairs in the game room area, which I'm still redesigning at the moment. We're adding additional arcade games to this part. And we're looking at turning the garage actually into the arcade instead of using this upstairs so that this upstairs area can just be a hangout place and also have this trundle 4 twin bed configuration here. So one of the things I do a lot in all my designs is to design both for MTR or midterm rental as well as for short-term rental, which means that we always offer a lot of comfy workspaces throughout the entire house. So this, of course, it's in the hallway area, which this would have been an underutilized space anyway, but we wanted to make sure that we maximize every single available space, so we added a desk and chair here. All right, this room's a little bit awkwardly configured because of the window placement, so the best way that we can make use of this space behind the bed is basically to put wallpaper here and put art on the two sides of the bed instead of putting art on the center of the bed. And then we have two more bedrooms on this wing of the house. This is another king size bed. We try to fit as many king size rooms in this house as possible. Out of all the bedrooms, only one has a queen size bed, and the rest of the private bedrooms all have king size beds. As you can see, having king size beds, having high quality furniture, and having a TV in every single room, as well as a desk in almost every single room, has made this house highly popular, both for short-term rental stays, as well as for week or 2 week or 3 week, month-long stays, basically. This is probably my second favorite bedroom in the house, just because I love how this entire room came out. Just because it's all gray doesn't mean that it has to be boring. Here I have matched the lamp, the desk, as well as the wallpaper and the art and the chairs pretty much all with each other, so that there's basically different types of gray patterns on gray patterns. And I really like how it turned out. So once again, we were not allowed to touch the brown tile in the bathrooms. That was one of the things that I had to compromise on with my parents. But I really do like how this bathroom turns out regardless, just because we did paint the cabinets gray, and then we updated the mirrors by framing them in instead of taking them out, and then painting the frames. So this is a really cheap trick that you can do with your mirrors if you have these ugly builder grade mirrors, is to add a frame to it and then frame them in, and it looks instantly way more attractive. So there you have it. This is a walkthrough of a $1 million East Austin STR. I think the takeaway for this house is really that short-term rental doesn't have to be the end strategy or the exit strategy. It can just be one of the strategies to learn how to hold the property a little bit longer for real estate appreciation. In a market such as Austin, Texas, real estate appreciation is one of the biggest builders for wealth, and therefore if you're able to short-term rent and afford to keep the house just a little bit longer, like my parents are able to, then you're able to build the wealth just through appreciation and tax savings a lot faster. In the next few years, just this house alone is going to match my dad's tech salary. So this is a huge deal for them that they are able to hold this a little longer. If you have a property that you don't know what to do with, maybe it's a primary residence that you're moving out of in a really prime location for short-term rentals, or it is a long-term rental that you don't know what to do with, reach out to me and comment below. And that's it for today. Thanks, and like and subscribe.